everybody. My name is Caitlin, or Kiissaas. That's my YouTube name. This is my first Sims 4 speed build. I have been a long time lurker on YouTube. I've subscribed to so many YouTube channels. Sims 4 building is one of my favorite things to do. It's very cathartic, and watching it is even more so. After so many years of watching all of you guys in the community build and share your houses, I decided that I would as well. So yeah, this house that I'm building, it's inspired by a TV show that I watched some summers ago. It's called Midsomer Murders, and despite the eerie sounding name, it's actually a very cute family friendly show. And basically in the TV show, it focuses on a small English town called Badger's Drift. I'm pretty sure it's fictional. But anyway, in this town, the houses are all Tudor Cottage style, and they're very, very cute. And specifically in the first TV show, it focuses on this older woman who, she's either widowed or single, never got married, who knows. And, you know, she's older in age, and she's exploring her interests, and, you know, I just feel something that maybe not a lot of older women do, you know. But, she scrapbooks, she collects things, and, you know, she collects plants, you know, she does all these, like, weird things. And the house that she lives in is very old style. It looks very medieval, mid-century, or mid-1600s, you know. And it looked like all the houses in that show look like they were made originally with thatched roofs, and then over time got the modern roofing style. So I love the old look of all those houses, the medieval look, and I decided I was going for that with this house. And specifically for this house, I built a character with it. Her name is Ana Wolwort, and she is newly widowed. She originally bought the house with her husband, and you know, it was intended to be their retirement home, something to grow old and spend their last days together. But however, Tim Wolwort passes away before the move can be official. So this house strictly belongs to Ana. And Ana is exploring life, a new life without her husband. And my idea was that, you know, having spent her whole life with her husband, she really struggles to find meaning or to new ambitions. And with this house, with this new build, she discovers a knack for gardening and collecting, similar to the character in Midsomer Murders, before she's murdered, which is really sad. But that's not what I was going for here. So the style for this house is very eclectic. It's very Tudor style. There's lots and lots of plants, and everything is just random, and there's no real pattern. You know, I was trying to go for that. And yeah. So before, I actually built this house once before, and I don't have all of the Sims 4 packs, and I was trying to build the place with city living and dine out, and it just wasn't working. The base game options for building and city living and dine out, the styles just weren't matching what I had in mind. So before I built the house a second time, you know, completely redoing it, I decided to buy Get Together expansion pack, and I'm so glad I did, because all of the building styles, all of the building materials in that are perfect for what I had in mind. This is better than what I had envisioned it to be. So I'm really glad that I did that. And I love all of the building materials and get together. It works perfectly for country cottage designs. I think my next pack I will probably buy will definitely be the Pets expansion pack. I've watched so many Let's Plays, gameplays with that expansion, and I feel like it's just perfect for very old people eclectic designs, which I really like to do. So for the interior design, I wanted to go for a small kitchen because I feel like older people have small kitchens. The rest of the build was inspired by, I got ideas from my grandparents who they lived in this country home, and everything, and one of the things I loved about their house growing up was that they seemed to have things from almost every decade, it felt like, and they were just holding on to it. So the kitchen had like 1960s cabinetry, where they're like stark primary colors, like these cabinets, yellow. And then they had 1960s stove, and they had that stove for 60, 70 years. And then they just sort of sold it on a whim for like $10 to a collector who probably made a lot of money off of it. And then they had like a modern fridge, and the couch was from the 1970s. So that's what I was going for in this, in the interior. I wanted to evoke that that collection of items over time, as people do with older age. And the floor plan for this house is really small, so it was hard to fit all of the necessary living spaces in this house, but I figured it out. I also forgot to put a sink in this build, so that vase that's in the corner, post-production, I get rid of it after I realize that there is no sink. I get rid of it and I put a standalone sink there, and it looks really good. So if you guys did want to download the house from I forget what the Sims 4 gallery, that's what it's called. If you guys wanted to download the house from the Sims 4 gallery, there will be a sink. I also forgot to, after I put that bathroom in the side over there, I forgot to re-add the paneling, but I put that in after. It's if you download the house from the gallery, the paneling will be on the side of the house. And for the living room, it was very hard to figure out how to fit in the sofa and stuff, but I eventually did figure out a floor plan that worked. And I also went with wallpaper because I just feel like old people, they all have wallpaper. And, as a kid, I always thought it was really tacky, but now that I'm older, I definitely love the way wallpaper looks, that it just gives that vintage style to everything. And, yeah. And despite her, living in a Tudor cottage, which is very medieval looking, I do put tidbits of technology in there because I feel like older people, although they're clinging to the decades that when they were most vibrant and most alive, they still adapt to modern times in small ways. And I feel like older people always have just one type of technology in their house. So like the first thing that came out when they were alive. So like a lot of older people, I feel like, hang on to the technology of the 90s because that was like one of the first times that technology was really booming in an accessible way. So they have like IBM computers and the box TVs. So I give her a tiny, tiny box TV, and I also give her a very old computer, which I put into her room. Yeah. And then of course, she has a bookcase because old people love to read. And I have to say, after I built the place and I was playing around with my Sims, she grabbed a book every you know, every hour or so she grabbed a book and sat down, which was like perfect for how I envisioned her character. Yeah, just adding the last finishing touches to the living room. And the bedroom, I had less of an idea of how I wanted it to look, but eventually I got inspiration from my grandparents. And their bedroom growing up I thought was so strange. They had the bed pushed up against the wall, which I thought was so weird because, you know, how do you get out of the bed in the middle of the night, you know, especially being old where it's hard to maneuver. But they loved it. It was like, I think my grandfather, he preferred to sleep against the wall, so they just pushed the bed up against the wall, and it gave them so much more space in their room, and they were able to put a lot of other things in there. And that really helped for this strange bedroom space that I had to work with. I ended up putting a computer in there because it's kind of hard for Sims to function without a computer, so she did need a computer. I also put a bathroom in here. It's completely unusable, but my idea was like the senior citizen bathroom that they can, you know, get up and use in the middle of the night, that way they don't have to walk across the house. And I'm just finishing up the build with some lighting. Also, this bathroom is very, very, very tiny, and I wasn't able to put a sink in there, but my thought process was that the sim could wash the hands in the sink, completely not realizing that I did not put in a sink. But like I said, it is in the final build, so you can download it with the proper siding and the sink. Yeah, and I'm just lighting up the backyard. I love the way this place looks at night. It's very, very beautiful. But anyway, and then this is, I put her husband's headstone in the backyard. If you wanted to keep the characters and keep the storyline, that is all available. And uploading it, I did put a little story description. That way you guys can get the feel of the place if you did want to download it along with the storyline. Anyway, that is it. I really hope you enjoy, and if you would like to download or play with it, it is available in the gallery. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked my first video. Bye guys. I feel again, we're bringing this back to life. We're picking up where we left, off and on again. We never quite could forget, 'cause what we got so intense.